And welcome back to Lantern Corp's video, and freaking Neosness Productions. I love him. I really do. Like, one of the reasons I started doing the Lantern Corp's videos is because he does really good ones. At least in my opinion. I highly recommend you go check out his channel, Needless Mouse Productions, to check out more of him. He's not paying me to plug him or anything like that. I'm not in any contact with him. I'm just recommending him as a guy who likes his work. But what I was going to do after I now had finished my Naruto ones up was I was going to do Rick and Morty. It was actually a suggested one, and it was one that I was like, oh, that would have been a real fun one to do. The son of a bitch does Rick and Morty last week. I'm like, damn it! I have to, because afterwards it's just tack. It just seems like I'm copying him after that, and I don't want to come off that way. So I'm going to wait a little while before I do Rick and Morty. I'll do Rick and Morty because I actually have a few different thoughts on that than he did. But still. So instead, I'm like, all right, let's just move on to a different one. And we're going with some of the Avatar cast right now. Aang, are you the Avatar, Aang? Aang from Avatar, the Avatar from Avatar Last Airbender. That is going to be the subject of our Lantern Corps videos today. So right off the bat, we need to get it out of the way right now. We're only going to be using Aang as he is in the original series. And we're not going to be using any of the extended comics, A, because I haven't read a lot of them. And B, there's just so much more that goes on in that stuff. C, we will not be going to Legend of Korra simply because he'd be a Black Lantern. He's dead. That being said, because he's the Avatar, his spirit is, still around and stuff like that, exists in the spirit world. But by all accounts, he'd be a Black Lantern. So we can't use Legend of Korra because it's blatantly obvious. So we're basically just going to be focusing on him as he is in the Avatar series. So like I always do, I go with the Lantern Corps that he cannot qualify for, possibly qualify for, and then the ones that I guarantee, I feel almost confident he can qualify for. Just gotta make one quick correction. And then if there's multiple of those, then I would just figure out what the most likely one is. So right off the bat, Black Lanterns he cannot qualify for. He's in the series. He is not dead, nor does he worship death or pray to death or embody death. And here's the thing: some people are going to say that he died at the end of book 2, and that Katara was able to bring him back. No, because the hit wasn't truly lethal. Yeah, he got cut off temporarily. But it's not. He was near death. We'll say that. If she had not have healed him, or she didn't heal him. Wow. If she did not heal him, then he would have died. Yes, he would have. But he did. He was near death's door, and his chakras got basically sealed up in his back, which is why he couldn't access the Avatar state at all until the very end of the series. So, yeah, he's never actually died or been dead, so I can't qualify him for a Black Lantern ring. Likewise, whoa, hello, Mr. Bumblebee. Mr. Bumblebee, would you please get out of my house? I don't want to squish you. You are important to the environment. Mr. Bumblebee, sorry. Come on, buddy. You're, there we go. Come on, there you go. I could edit that out, but it's a fun little outtake. Let's keep it in. And there's a puppy. Oh, hi. I want you to be paying attention to me. Pay attention to me. So Domino here doesn't believe that Aang would be a Yellow Lantern either. Now, this one, here's the thing. 2 of these Nope rings are not going to, they have an exception to the rule. Yellow Lantern. Yellow Lanterns are the lanterns of fear. They are able to embody a lot of fear in individuals. Now, as Aang is, there are, like, the Fire Nation is scared of the Avatar to some degree, but normally they just override that and they just, they attack him whenever and try to capture him. So, otherwise, Aang is a very just jovial, happy-go-lucky 12-year-old kid, and yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, normally speaking, you would not be afraid of me. He does not give an aura of intimidation. Unless he's in the Avatar state. In which case, he is essentially a force of freaking nature. And he is more. He is one. Anytime he went into the Avatar state, he scared the pants off people. That's the thing. He was just frightening to look at. When he went up against Zuko the first time, when he found out the Airbenders were gone, he scared. I mean, there weren't many people there, but he scared people. When he went against the Fire Nation and turned into the giant fish thing, when that Earth soldier basically tried to get him to tried to force him into the Avatar state. That anytime he went in there, he was frightening. So in that circumstance, he could, but only in that circumstance. Otherwise, generally speaking, no. There'd have to be a yellow lantern ring passing by for him to qualify for it. It would not seek him out normally. Then we get into Red. Now, Red is an odd one because, again, normally, except for when he gained control of it, when he's in the Avatar state, he's raging out. So that could qualify him for Red Lantern Ring while he's doing that. But then you get into base form Aang, like just standard Aang. And here's the thing. Aang definitely carried a lot of grief and anger with him for a little bit of, at least, no, he did to some degree. He carried a lot of anger, resentment throughout the whole scenario throughout the whole series because he felt like he felt like he was to blame for the death of his people. Because if he had been there, he could have stopped them. At least that's, otherwise, truth be told, he would have been killed too. But he believes he could have stopped it. He could have saved the day because he's the Avatar. And, he's harbored that resentment and guilt for himself a little bit for a long time. And it's ultimately, but at the same time, it's not something that ultimately drove him. So I can't, I can't say it's a core that I keep saying core, it's corpse. It's a corpse that he would regularly qualify for while just being Aang. But at the same time, I could see a vague argument if someone wanted to argue it. Last Lantern Corps he can't qualify for is the Orange Lanterns. But here's the thing. This was another one that when I looked into it, I'm like, there is some debate you could have that he, at least in the beginning of the series, could have. And the most minute form of it. Because he was a little selfish, but he was still a 12-year... Here's the thing. Despite the fact he was wise for his age, in the Avatar, he was still a 12-year-old kid. He got selfish. He got a little greedy now and then. Hell, at one point, he just, he lied to a group of people to get them to stop fighting, more so he could eat lemon custard, or egg custard. He hid the truth about Sokka and Katara's father in the early part of the season, so he could keep them with him because he didn't want them to go. That's a low level of selfishness. So I could see if someone thought for a second he could be, but the problem is none of this is inherent to his character. It's all the acts of a selfish kid. Because let's be honest, if you were in his position at 12 years old, mind you, now granted, you look at this in hindsight and be like, oh yeah, no, yeah, at 12 years old, no, I still wouldn't have done that. Yeah, but you're speaking from that standpoint as an adult now. You can't answer that question properly as an adult. You have to look back to how you remember yourself or how other people remembered you as a 12-year-old kid. Let's be honest. At the very minimum, the thought would have crossed your mind to do what he did. Now, would you have done it? That's a different question entirely. But the thought would have crossed. The intent behind that thought would have been there. That is avarice. That is, at least on some level, a little bit of greed, selfishness. But at the same time, it's not something that it consumes. It's not a base part of his character. It's just, the kind of standard, a little selfishness that the kid has sometimes. That doesn't make him a greedy character, and that doesn't make him qualify for avarice. Then we get into the possible Lantern Corps. Now, these ones are all really, except for one, The one that it's just a general possible is the Lantern Corps of Violet, Lantern Corps of Love. And it's because he's always had a deep love for his friends who were basically his new family. And then obviously he fell in love with Katara. So from that standpoint, he could qualify for a Violet Lantern ring, I think. It's just not, I think, the core trait that defines him given the other Lantern Corps. But at the same time, I think, and the big one is Katara. Katara is the big one that he holds love for. The other two, though, Indigo, the Indigo Light of Compassion. This one, frankly, is a little surprising, at least for me, because you would think that Aang could very much be a candidate for the Indigo Light of Compassion. He comes off as very compassionate. He's the Avatar. He's the bridge between two worlds. But here's the thing. He's certainly compassionate, and we'll get into reasons why he could be compassionate, definitely. So here's the thing. He can't. There's two qualifications for Indigo Lantern Corps. You either need to be extremely compassionate, or you need to lack all compassion, because that's how the ring gets you. You either lack it, so it's like, we're gonna put that compassion into you and make you regret stuff, and now you're compassionate, or it's like, oh, you're so compassionate, let's go to you. So for like examples of him being compassionate, absolutely, him talking with Katara and Sokka, absolutely, about their family, things along those lines, and aiding them through trials and tribulations. That's definitely a lot of compassion right there. Him talking with not Zhang, the guru certainly helped him aid in his level of compassion. So ultimately, I mean, there's a lot of examples. Him bonding with the criminals when they were in that village, I was gonna burn the Avatar, put the Avatar on trial. Just like, what are you idiots doing? Anyway. But at the same time, here's the problem. And this is a problem that does go throughout the series. Mostly in the first stages of the series, because he's still, getting used to things. Aang has points where he either, again, is lacking compassion. For instance, again, when the Sokka and the Katara one's a big example. When he basically hid the information about their father. There moments like that, but also moments where he just doesn't quite get it. Like, he, for what it's worth, doesn't understand that Katara was having such an issue with waterbending when they were learning it together. Aang actually does lack a little bit of... He doesn't even lack a little bit. He does lack a certain level of compassion, because sometimes it's all about him. Like when he got a big head on Kyoshi Island, or when the fortune teller, told him about love or all that stuff. But that's not a really perfect example. But for instance, near the end, where he blows up on people about talking about how he doesn't want to kill the Fire Lord and stuff like that. He's not being compassionate in the scenario that, look, you may have to do that. You don't seem to grasp that concept. That may be something you ultimately have to do. Here's the thing. He's still got a lot of compassion in him, but he's actually got enough selfish moments in him as a character, which makes him a great character, makes him complex. That I can't say he'd be as strong, right from the get, like the Indigo Lanterns are like recruiting and they're up a lineup. He might not be the best individual. He's a good choice, but he's not the best choice. And then here's the other big one that's going to shock you. The one that's a possibility, but not a lock. The Green Lantern Corps. I don't think Aang is actually a very good candidate for the Green Lantern Corps. Now, here's the thing. What could qualify him for? Well, he's pretty much defied the odds. Became the Avatar, reclaimed the Avatar, learned the elements in about a year, give or take. Saved the world, all with his friends, all going through trials and tribulations, learning things that he was not able to, or learning things. Sorry. learning the elements in a short amount of time takes a lot of willpower. Absolutely. And I just messed up my glasses. It takes a lot of willpower. Absolutely, it does. Going head to head with the fire, lots of willpower it has. To stare down and face your fears like that. But the problem is this: is that the enemy of will is fear and doubt. And Aang, and this goes throughout the entire series. Aang is full of self-doubt. Aang has always been full of self-doubt. Even when he stands strong, and despite what he's doing, despite willpower and all that, overcoming stuff, despite the fact he overcomes his fears and will at points in the series, they come back again. Like his fear and doubt in him when he burns Qatar, for a perfect example. Again, the Qatar Sokka incident. About their dad. When he burns Qatar, then he overcomes that. But then he's got to deal with the fact that, he keeps finding about the dragons, the airbending, airbenders puts him in finding out what happened to the airbenders, being, doubts about the Avatar state. So many times it happens where Aang's will falters. And it's only through basically Deus Ex Machina conditions that he basically is able to win the day. Or, overcome the adversity. Here's the thing. Aang could probably qualify for a Green Lantern ring, but he could not hold a Green Lantern ring. Now, here's the thing. His whole vow not to kill and finding ways around that would work well for them. Absolutely. Because they don't kill. But at the same time, he's not. I don't think he's a good candidate for the corpse. He's not a good candidate for him. So, yeah, that only leaves us with two. And these are the two that seem the most likely. One is Blue. Aang is a perfect candidate for the Lantern Corps of Blue. Because Blue is the core of hope. Aang, first off, holds a lot of hope in him most of the time. Like, he was hoping to see the airbenders again. He didn't lose the hope, but he found new hope. Katara and Sokka, his new family, gave him hope. He continued to bring down that hope and hold that hope that he would be able to save the world, and he did. Not to mention the fact that he's the freaking Avatar, and therefore, being the Avatar instills a great deal of hope within him. Or not within him. And everyone, just knowing that the Avatar is back filled everyone with hope. When we saw how many people came back to fight the good fight with him on the day of Black Sun, that's how many people had hope in him. That he was able to rally, that he was able to save in many ways. So Aang is a perfect candidate for hope. Now, does he lose his hope sometimes? Absolutely. But because of the hope he instills in others just being out there, I have to give him a solid good. That is probably the second most likely corp he could qualify for. However, and it's no surprise, this is the last one on the list, the White Lantern Corps of Life, I think, is the one that he most qualifies for. Now, here's my reasoning behind this. A, he's alive. Right off the bat, that's a good start. B, he is the bridge between two worlds. He is the bridge between the spirit world and the living world. Being that bridge, I have to believe, helps him out with when it comes to qualifying for it, because he has to basically be the balance between them. And life is about balance and growth. Furthermore, he's a father. And when you're going by Korra, Legend of Korra style. But take that into consideration. He would have become a father anyway. But he's also able to not. What's the best way to put it? He stuck to his principles and never took a life. He helped keep life going. He saved and protected life while not taking life. Not only that, but bending life energy. Bending the energy within bending life. I have to believe that qualifies him more than any other Lantern Corp. And then it's the White Lanterns for Aang. I have to believe for him that the two best two best Lantern Corps they could qualify for are the White Lantern Corps of Life and the Blue Lantern Corps of Hope. Those are the two most likely ones, I'd imagine. So, those are my thoughts on what if Aang was in the Lantern Corps. So which Lantern Corps he would belong to. But what do you think? Do you think it's either white or blue, or do you think it's anything else? So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Now, tomorrow I'll be back with What If, who would win, Death Battle prediction, and Pokemon news. Now, how am I going to do this? Well, I actually have a rare occurrence where I actually have a weekday off this week. I'm not working tomorrow, which means I'm going to have plenty of time to do those videos. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time, folks. Later.